So how are you? How you people doing? Have y'all recovered from being up all night?
Pretty much.
Man, that was a late night.
Well, if you wanted honesty, that's all you had to say. I never want to let you
So
down or
good.
have you go. It's better off this way for all the dirty looks, for photographs your
Opening
boyfriend
credits
took.
are flying over the
When you
screen.
broke your
Everybody's
phone from
excited.
jumping out the second floor. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. You wear me out. What will it take to
So did you know that the Umbrella Academy was partly created by the lead singer of My Chemical?
Yeah, he's big.
He
into
does a lot of
animation.
stuff, but
or
that
cartoon or comics and stuff like that.
yeah, that's kind of his big deal right now.
So we'll just real quick, because we're going to keep this going. But those of you that just tuned in, or you're listening, or you're watching, we're the UNT3. We're the podcast that brings you all music all the time. I'm your host, Ryan Gerfers. These two guys up here, let me tell you something. They stood up the entire My Chemical Romance show, right?
We
I say it
did
a lot,
We
too.
old schooled it, man.
I mean, I tell you what, you got Mr. One Take. He stood the whole time. He stood there in one take. He didn't sit down.
Nope.
Mr. Fisher over here. And then this guy, he was everybody's hero. That's what I'm talking about at the show,
Yeah.
especially Brock's, because you brought him.
Yeah, he was my +1 for the night.
But man, I tell you what, we didn't get a chance to do it. For those of you watching and listening again, by the time you're watching this, we will have seen My Chemical Romance a few weeks ago. It's been a while. But we didn't get a chance to really sit down, the three of us, and have a post-concert discussion.
Yeah.
So let's do it now.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's have a post-concert discussion. Let's grade it and let's just talk about it, right?
Let's
But-
grade it.
Man, I tell you what, though.
But if we're gonna do it, we need to grade the entire concert. That means
Well, we can
starting
no,
from-
no, okay.
No, we
No,
don't grade.
we
don't
will
grade.
let's put it this way.
We're not grading the support acts.
We will get the support acts out of the way real quick. What was it? Devil
suck.
Master was terrible.
Yeah, they were terrible. And
They
anytime
played for 27 minutes, and it was the same song for 27 minutes.
Yeah, it was.
They would have told you they played 10 different songs.
yeah,
But it was the same song for 27 minutes.
this is true. This is true.
Now,
And I like the comment that my favorite lyric that they used over and over again was "Oh."
well, and then Midtown comes on,
Mhm.
and I'll say this about Midtown. They definitely sounded like a band that hadn't played in over 15 years.
Yeah. Just to give feedback, they have not toured in 15 years. So let's at least be honest. But
Yeah.
I thought though they were very nostalgic of the music of that time, the pop punk, very much in the same vein. They were the happy side of what My Chemical Romance is. you know?
Sure. Well, and so here,
So we have to at least be real on that. But they were good. I liked it. They were catchy.
They were okay. Well, but I like what you said. They were the happy side of the My Chemical Romance stuff. Because what I think is amazing about My Chemical Romance, when they went on and they played their set, I was about maybe halfway through the set. I'm thinking to myself, now I see why they had Devil Master play, and now I see why they had Midtown play, because My Kim was a much better version of those two bands mashed together, because there were times where Gerard would do the screamo with his vocal and have
Mhm.
the total scream into the microphone, which was nothing but Devil Master. But then you had some of that poppy punk stuff happening too from Midtown. But man, Mike Kim did it so much better though. Like, I was so pleasantly surprised just because I don't know their catalog that well. I knew a few songs
Yeah.
and I knew of a few songs, but still to this day, they didn't play a bad song all night.
Yep, and they even played a brand new song. So
It was all amazing.
So no, I 100% concur. And
And
the whole theatrical makeup and uniform stuff, I'm not really a big fan of. I mean, it has its place in certain things, but like I don't really get into that. And that's really what kind of I was concerned. Like, is this going to translate as well? Because I watched the Black Parade. Welcome to the Black Parade, the live show, and they had the jackets, and so I wasn't sure what they were going to do. And they just came out as just regular dudes, and they just played.
Yeah.
They just played music, and the only thing that I would say was somewhat theatrical was the background with the kind of dystopian,
Well, it was like
you know,
Black Parade 2.0.
yeah, I mean the wreckage and stuff like that. But other than that, and the intro, which was that kind of weird helicopter-y kind of
That 20-minute
sound.
intro. Yeah.
I mean, other than that, I mean,
That's the
really,
only
it was,
bad thing I have to say. Like,
yeah, it went on a little too long, but I also understand why they did it, because they were like, that builds up anticipation. But man, when they started playing, the last song, and the drums and the vocals and the crowd were the only thing that you heard, and people were just screaming. Oh, it was so good. They did a really good. I was super impressed. So,
well, I'll say this: the first 4 songs that they played, I don't think I knew those songs. Maybe
I'm
one
not
of them.
okay. I'm not okay.
I think one of them, but man, the first 4 songs were just wow. I remember just sitting there going, damn, this is good.
Yeah.
And then,
I didn't recognize anything until they got to Black Parade of Teenagers,
Yeah.
yeah.
which
And
are
the thing is
my 2 favorite songs by them.
Yeah.
And then
And then they did the closer Cancer as well, which was off of Black
well,
Parade.
they did they did
did
like 4 or 5 songs off of Black
They did
Parade.
Helena, they did Teenagers, they did
Helena's not on Black
no,
Parade.
I'm sorry. That I was thinking of like songs that you would know. But like no, they did Cancer, they did, of course,
They
Welcome
did
to the Black
Mama, they
Parade,
did
Mama,
they
and
did
Teenagers.
Teenagers, they
Yeah.
did what's the Famous Last Words.
Yeah, I mean they did a lot, but what was really cool is they did a lot of old stuff too, which when you have such a pivotal, I mean, literally, if we're being honest, the Black Parade, you can listen to you listen to every song off their albums, but Black Parade is like, that was really what pushed them over the top. And they easily could have played that whole album and people would have been like, awesome, that's great. But I'm so glad that they pulled out some older tracks as well. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you've been gone for as long as they've been,
yeah,
they disbanded in 2013, and then they did that little 10-year anniversary of Black Parade in 2016 when everybody thought that's what they're coming back. They're getting back together. And then they did that one off in 2020 in LA.
yeah,
and
which was
and
really
then-
awesome, by the way. If you see it on YouTube, it's really good.
Yeah. And then, that I guess that's what, like, because I think the thing holding up a reunion for the band, like it typically was the lead singer, right? The front man, Gerard. And then getting back and doing it and seeing how the crowd reacted. And then, of course, 2020 hit and all hell broke loose with the pandemic. And so this is, these shows should have been done in 2020, not 2022. But, with that being said, the thing I enjoyed most about the show, because like I said, the only 2 songs that I knew for sure, that I knew, like when they started playing, I was like, oh, I know this song, were Black Parade and Teenagers. I'm not like I said at the concert, man, it looked like Hot Topic threw up in there. know, and that was the extent of my knowledge of My Chemical Romance when they were, starting out and blowing up. That's when Hot Topic was, a thing where people would shop most of the younger crowd, if you will.
Yeah.
And so, what I enjoyed most about the show was, the fact that you had an arena full of people there to watch a band,
Mm-hmm.
musicians, and that's what they are. Those guys are musicians. They might play the pop punk, because I was reading before they went on just some background information. So during Midtown and Devil Master, that I'll let you know how much I thought about them.
It's all good.
I was reading about the
we love you.
band that, Gerard, he pushed against the whole emo thing. Like he was like, we're not emo. We're something else. Emo, he thinks emo's trash.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so he kind of like Lars, who we're not a thrash metal band, we're just a band that happens to play this kind of music, right?
Yeah.
He's pushed against the emo tag forever. But it's whether they play pop punk or emo style music or just straight rock, because that's what they were. That was a rock show. They were tight, they were on it. You would never have guessed that they had been away for as long as they've been away.
Yep.
And then the other thing that stood out, because when we first talked about them way back before summer started and kind of spurred us on looking up, oh, hey, there's a show coming, let's go see them.
Mm-hmm.
Was watching, I was just watching some music videos and seeing all the comments. Who's still watching this in 2022? And I remember being in middle school and this meaning so much to me, and then going to the show, and whether you agree with any of what goes on at shows like that, or that the music or the message that the music portrays, it meant something to
Yep.
a lot of people.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And to see an arena full of people, kind of like, sounds a lot like my review for Alanis Morissette, right? It's just I think I'm more appreciative now of live shows, not because of the pandemic, but more because of how old I am and what live shows meant to me when I was young, and going to see, whether it was going to see Not Called Comment or going to a festival and watching a bunch of bands that way.
Yep.
But just, I have no connection to My Chemical Romance whatsoever, other than hearing them play in Hot Topic or seeing a video here and there, or whenever Halloween rolls around, seeing people dressed up. Right. That's my connection to My Chemical Romance, right? And
Trick or treat, baby.
trick or treat. Every day's Halloween when you're a My Chemical
I
Romance.
swear, dude, we were at a freaking trunk or treat in the AAC, dude.
But but it meant something to a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
And I can see why that. And then after the show, and for the last almost week now, that's really all I've been listening to is My Chemical Romance, and kind of diving in, like, okay, what is this all about? And really, and coming to realize, why exactly they meant so much to so many people, and that other bands that were in the style of My Chemical Romance, like AFI and bands like that, like why My Chemical Romance is head and shoulders above all of the rest of them.
Yeah.
Right. Like, they're just a really good band.
Yeah.
And
Modern day Queen.
I said it after the show, and I'll say it again. And so, YouTube land out there, remind me next time we do Supergroup. Gerard's gonna be in my top 3 for frontmen.
Mm-hmm.
He he's a showman, right? And one of the things I learned reading about him before they went on was he and his brother, who's the bass player, they formed My Chemical Romance as a response to 9/11. Right? He was Gerard, the lead singer. He was an intern at Cartoon Network when it happened.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he came to the conclusion that he wanted his life to mean something. He wanted his art to mean something. And so he formed My Chemical Romance with his brother and everybody except the drummer that we saw Wednesday night. They're all original members.
Yeah, the other one's in jail, I think.
What, the other drummer?
I think the original drummer's in jail. I could be wrong.
How many drummers have there been?
I don't know, but I know I think he got busted for trying to sell drugs online or something crazy like that. But I 100% agree with you.
There's
Fisher?
been 3 drummers.
Okay. Well, the
and
one that was on the Black
the se-
Parade
the-
album.
The second drummer, the one who was on the Black Parade drummer, the blonde guy, he was either fired or he quit. He retired. That's what he did. But there was tension in the band because of some of the stupid shit that he was doing.
Yeah, I
Um,
think he spent some illegal jail time. But no,
no, but the second drummer, he was fired from the band because he was caught stealing from the band.
well, then maybe that's what it is. Okay, I knew it was
And
something
then
illegal.
this guy,
It's always
guy that-
drugs.
the guy that we saw play drums, he's been in the band since then. And I was when he would come on the video monitor, I'd think, God, that guy's old, right? And he's the youngest one up there.
Well, there you go. It's staying in the dark. That's why they look so young, because they're hanging upside down in their caves in the dark. But
Yeah.
Right.
I will say this: I Fisher, I 100% agree. And to take it a step further, that's the beauty of music. That's what I love about
Yeah.
music is you have people like Gurfers with his beard and his camo and his boots, standing next to some 15-year-old kid with black eyeliner and jet black hair and pale
Yeah,
white skin.
I saw a camo My Chemical Romance shirt. So
Well, my
I
point
even-
though is that, like, it just unifies everybody. Like you said, it meant something, and hearing, it meant something different to me. Obviously, I wasn't a teenager when I was listening to that music, but the musicality, the lyrical content, the kind of theme that ran through their albums, that was always something that I just really enjoyed. I wasn't like crying.
you know what? It kind
but-
of reminded me of We Heart the Violence.
It kind of did, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I got to say though, it was I agree though. People unified, and for one stretch of time, everybody forgot politics and transgender pronouns and religion and just got to enjoy a great band putting on a great show, singing great songs that everybody was at peace with each other. There was no fights. Man, there was literally no animosity. I didn't run across anybody and I've been to a lot of shows. It was just peaceful. Everybody was just super happy to see this band get together and play some of their favorite
Yeah.
tunes. So
Well,
I'm
that's
sure
what
that-
happens when you go to a Halloween costume party / concert.
no, I've seen a lot of fist fights at Halloween costume parties, but
I'm
On a side note, by the way-
the tone at the Slipknot concert was a little bit different.
it was a little different. It was
'Cause,
definitely different.
Slipknot's Trick or Treat too.
Yeah, well, I will
Now-
tell you
Slipknot-
this: you do realize Slipknot was playing the same night, by the way.
Yes.
Now, so with all that being said, and the trick or treat event that we went to, that makes me want to so much more go to a Marilyn Manson show.
Nah,
Just
I have no desire.
no, not to go to listen to the music. I want to go there to people watch. I think that would be amazing to just go and people watch at a Marilyn Manson show, because I didn't expect to see what I saw at My Chem. I really didn't.
Well, I will tell you, I've been to a Marilyn Manson show, and it is, as my good friend, who I can't say her name because she's an upper level at a university here in town. A Marilyn Manson show is a shit show. I mean, Slipknot is one thing, but like Slipknot is about the music. You know, they do put on the crazy antics, but like it's about the band. It's about metal. It's about like music. Marilyn Manson is about just chaos. It's a theatrical. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of bands. That's definitely up on the top 3 weirdest bands I've ever seen.
I have no desire to see anything that goes on at a Marilyn Manson show. It's not really my cup of tea when as far as music is concerned. And now if it had been a Marilyn Manson show 20 years ago, 15 years ago,
Yeah,
I
we were in
might be
different
interest-
places then. You know,
I might
Antichrist
be
Superstar.
I
I
might
mean, that
well,
album.
that was more like almost 25 years ago.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, that album was just like that was what put him on the map, man.
But I mean, from what I can tell, he's just a shell of himself as far as a performer is concerned. And his shtick is old, right? Like he hasn't evolved as like it's
Well, and if we're being honest, the Me Too movement has really done him in as well. So
Yeah.
Columbine tried to take him out and didn't get him. Well, hashtag Me Too did. So, which I mean, if everything they're saying is true, then he deserves to be taken out. But
well
that's another podcast for another.
So,
That's a non-music.
let me
podcast.
ask this. Let me ask this question, and Joel, you'll be able to answer this because you spoke to him. But man, Brock had a lot of fun at that show.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I turn around, he sang every word,
Oh yeah,
like to every song.
he knew
So,
every word. That was his high school, his middle school through high school years.
I was gonna say,
Was My
like,
Chemical Romance.
what was this his like? Every one of
Brock
us
was
has
with
like
his people.
the show.
Yeah.
Was this the show that he wanted to go to?
Well, it turns out as good of friends as I am with Brock, I had no clue what a big My Chemical fan he was. And I actually bought a ticket for somebody else to go with me, and that has not panned out. So when I asked him, he almost wasn't able to go. And I'm so glad he was able to go because he literally knew every song except for the new song. But this was like, I mean, it was, I would say this is, he told me it was a bucket list item that we crossed off that night. So,
well, good
There
for
it
him.
is.
yeah.
That's good, man.
And of course, he fit in with everybody because he was the adult that had the gauges and the tattoos and the piercings. And all the kids were like, nice spiders. And I was like, what? And I didn't realize it, but he had that shirt on. He had little spiders on the shoulders. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're such a dork, man.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, but all these young, high school kids were like, nice spiders, man. It's like, oh my god.
Well,
right.
you know, the thing that like I said, kind of encouraged me about the show was just to see a sold out arena for the most part. It probably went down as a sellout. A sold out arena of people mainly 10 to 15 years younger than us there to see live music, not
Yep.
singing to a track or
Yep.
something off a laptop or something.
No.
Although I mean there was some electronic influence with the stuff that Gerard was doing, but still.
But he was triggering it all. So it was like another
Right.
instrument. So I give him a
Right.
pass on that.
But one of the thoughts I had was music needs this. Right? Today's music scene, it needs a My Chemical Romance or a Slipknot, or we need to kind of get back, maybe not to music as extreme as a Slipknot or whatnot, but we need to get back to a younger rock generation. Because one of the things that surprised me is the lead singer for he's our age. He's 45.
45.
Right?
Yes.
Doesn't look 45.
No.
Right. But how much longer can a My Chemical Romance or a Foo Fighter or even the guys in Metallica, they're all 60 years old or real close to it. Like, yeah, but this is maybe my ignorance speaking. I don't really see anything coming behind, right? I don't see anything that's gonna carry the torch for rock music in general or live music in general. The way that we had when we were in our teens and 20s, and the way that Brock had in middle school and high school, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of those bands from the early 2000s, like a Midtown, like I something else I learned about the lead singer from Midtown. He's now the lead singer for the band Cobra Starship, right? And so, talk about two opposite ends of the spectrum as
Mhm.
far as music styles are concerned.
Yep.
But a lot of those early 2000s to mid 2000s bands they're not around anymore, right? Like we were talking about them a couple of episodes ago, Alien Ant Farm, right? Like, they're nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
Even a band like Mars Volta, right? They came, they went, and now no more to be seen.
They released an album last year.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they're still around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but their prominence isn't what it was when they
Yeah, I
were
mean,
in their
there's
heyday.
yeah, they're still playing shows, and At the Drive-In kind of interrupted a little bit of the Mars Volta, but yeah, I do see where you're going with your point, but yeah, there's still some
Right,
bands around.
the bands from the early 2000s, for whatever reason, don't have the staying power of and it's the changing landscape of music. It's more pop oriented, more hip hop oriented, and whatnot. But even bands from the 90s are still going strong, right? From
Mhm.
the 80s. That's the majority of your live music now, is bands from the 80s and 90s. It kind of just fell off the cliff once the 2010s happened, right? So that's when your Taylor Swifts and your Justin Timberlakes of the world kind of push their way to the forefront.
Mhm.
So,
Well, speaking of bands that have some staying power, man, I've been waiting to do this band as a featured artist since we started this segment,
Nice.
and I'm finally pulling the trigger today.
Okay.
right
I'm
on.
so excited about this. Oh my gosh. So here we go. 6 studio albums, 3 live albums, 4 compilation albums, 3 EPs, 2 DVDs,
Ooh.
43 music videos,
Oh wow, that's a lot of
32 singles,
okay.
over 30 million records sold worldwide. They had 18 top 10 songs. They've had 5 #1 hits and 11 Grammy nominations. I'm not going to tell you who it is. They formed in 1987, and they are an
Ooh.
American rock band. I'm not even going to tell you what city.
Is it Guns N' Roses again?
Here we go. It is not.
I don't think they did 43 videos. Oh yeah. Three videos? Is that what it is?
43 music videos.
That is, I mean, that
That's a
just
lot.
shocks me. Like,
It's a lot. And see, now had I said the city, had I said formed in 1987 out of Seattle.
I
Yeah,
mean,
probably
we'd
would've-
have had a 1 in 4 shot.
yeah.
well- Yeah.
We'd had a
So-
1 in 4 shot.
So, man, for those of you listening and watching, that is Alice in Chains.
Dirt turns 30 this year.
Let me tell you, I
Actually, I
am
think it turns 30 this month.
yeah.
I am so excited about this. There are so many songs to choose from. I picked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 songs,
Okay.
just to give you snippets of. Pretty sure I've got at least, I think, this guy's favorite. I think I've got your favorite on here. I don't know. We'll find out here in a minute.
Dirt
Um,
turned 30. What is today? The 3rd?
Yes.
First, 30th. 4
But
days. ago.
man,
Wow.
here's the
I like
cool-
this. I like this episode because this is the one where Ryan can actually do the majority of the talking because
where I can
he
sit here and
loves
talk
Alice
about
in Chains.
dude. Okay, so this is what got me into Alice in Chains.
I'm just gonna
okay?
sit back and listen.
No. So I'll give you got time for a story?
Yeah, give us a
Come
story.
on, I'll tell
Come
you
on,
a
Dad.
story.
Come on, Dad.
So when my parents divorced, I would then go spend time summers with my dad, sometime in San Antonio. And then there were other summers where I would opt to go to Florida, where my brothers and my sister lived. It just so happened to be one of the summers in the 90s that I went to Florida, and both of my brothers and my sister and my brother-in-law loved Alice in Chains. And I remember riding in my brother Alan's Nissan 240 SX. I remember that. He put in an Alice in Chains album. He put in, it was Facelift is what he put in. And I remember him just, oh, dude, it was so loud. I almost looked at him and was like, hey, can you turn it down? But I didn't.
Yeah.
And we just drove. We just drove around Florida listening to Alice in Chains. And I remember looking at him going, do you have any more of that? Like, that was awesome. And so, dude, from then on, I came back home to Texas and I was hooked.
More, please.
Totally hooked to Alice in Chains. I was like, oh my God. And the
More,
thing was,
please.
at this time, my brother Alan
Please,
looked,
sir, can I have some more?
he looked like Lane Staley.
Mm.
He had the goatee and he had grown his hair out with the shaved up underneath, and he would hold, and he had the ponytail up here. He literally looked like a carbon copy of Lane Staley.
Well, you know, you looked like a red-headed Lane Staley when I first
there
met
you
you.
go.
So there you go.
Well, so I said his name. Let's go through just a few of the other members here. The founding member, Jerry Cantrell,
Yep.
who's really credited, from what I've been reading, he's credited with basically founding the band and putting this whole thing together.
Watch his icon video from Gibson on YouTube. He goes into real good
it's
detail
really
about
good.
the formation of Alice. in
It's
Chains.
really good.
I would go, this is a totally different podcast segment, but I would go as far to say that I think in our lifetimes, Jerry Cantrell is probably in the top tier of songwriters that there is.
I would not disagree.
I would agree.
And so then you got on the drums, Sean Kinney, who was him and Jerry kind of pieced this together. Then the original bass player, Mike Starr.
Rest in peace.
And then Lane Staley was the
Rest
front
in
man.
peace.
And then in 1993, Mike was replaced by another Mike, Inez.
Mhm.
Dude,
on the bass.
Talk about a monster on a bass.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised either Joel or I haven't brought him forward as someone to play, because you want to talk about super group and someone who's played with the greats.
Yeah, he's played with
He-
Ozzy. He's played with who else? Alice in Chains. He's played with several other acts too. So the Ozzy
All right,
was
I'm
the
gonna-
big one though.
I'm going to play another song. This one's going to be from the beginning. So here we go.
They don't have an album called The Beginning. Oh man, taking me back to high school.
That's such a good song.
That was not
Um,
a sexy fade out, but you don't need to sexy fade that. You just rip it right out, man.
It's
No,
okay.
no
but hey,
Vaseline, just rip it out.
hey. So, what's the name of that song for everybody listening and watching?
Dude, that's Bleed the Freak.
Damn straight it is.
Dude, that one is, if you go on YouTube and look up their concert live at the Moore, it's the black and white one. And it's basically, I want to say it's right after they put out Facelift. And so all the songs that they sing that night are off, or they're just basically they do Facelift. But that song in particular live, is, it's pretty much like listening to it on the album. You want to talk about, and this is why I think, for me, Lane is the best frontman out of the four to come out of Seattle. I put him above Chris Cornell. I know that's controversial, but to me, when he sang live, like Chris, some of the notes that Chris would hit in studio, he wouldn't hit live. I mean, that's just, especially when you're running around and doing all the stuff that you do live that you don't do in the studio. But that wasn't the kind of performer Lane was. Lane just stood there behind the mic and sang. And so he could basically recreate what he did in the studio live.
Mm-hmm.
And he does that almost perfectly on that that live show, Live at the Moore. So go check that out on YouTube. It's
Here's the cool thing. The thing I like about Lane as a vocalist is he's not the greatest singer in the world. He's really not. But he has a tone that literally the second the vocal starts coming out of his mouth, you can say that's Lane Staley.
Mm-hmm.
There is literally nobody on the face of the planet that sounds like him.
I think the thing that I like most about him is the power with which he sings.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you can tell he's singing from down low somewhere. Like he's not singing up here. It's a guttural. It's powerful. Not that Chris Cornell wasn't powerful, because he was very powerful.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right, but
well, it's like I saw an interview.
He's a little more gritty.
Yeah,
right?
like Chris Cornell one time was describing the lead guitar player for Mike McCready from Pearl Jam, and he said that guy plays from a really dark place. And I think that's kind of where, when Lane sung, like when he sang his music and he spoke those words, there was it was real deep, but yet it was also very pointy. It was a very round tone, and it just cut like a razor blade and came from a dark place. So
yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to play another snippet here of a song, and then I've got a question for y'all.
All right.
So
okay,
here we go.
Let us know when you play the one you think is our favorite.
Yeah, here come the rooster. Yeah. You know we ain't gonna die. No, no, no. You know we ain't gonna die.
I would love to hear this with the click, because the drummer, I'm sorry, I listen to this in headphones. I love this song, but like it almost sounds like a kind of a Lars thing where it's not going to make that beat, and it dun 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 dun. It just magically just propels that groove. So good, man. The Rooster, man.
Yeah, but he's better than Lars. So
Oh, he's a lot better than. I mean, he's on the beat, but it's funny hearing that kind of swing that I just never really have noticed before until listening to it today.
All right.
So
ask your question.
here's the question.
Oh,
What is your favorite Alice in Chains album?
Album?
album.
Not
God.
song, album. Because the next song I play is the one I think is I'm pretty sure it's his favorite, and it might be yours.
I
But what
mean,
album?
I go between Facelift and Dirt all the time. That's like asking which one's my favorite Metallica album, right? I go between Facelift and Dirt. To me, those are their two best albums.
but do you count the EP, the Jar of Flies?
They have two E EPs.
I know, but Jar of Flies, I mean, that's kind of like the big one that a lot of people kind of point to. I mean, I'm gonna say Dirt. I'm just gonna say that. I mean, there's great stuff on all of them, but Dirt's gonna be the one I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, I'll go Dirt just because that one. Dirt was really the first album that I listened to religiously other than Metallica when I was in high
Yeah.
school,
Yeah.
right? That one was as odd as it sounds. Alice in Chains, Dirt, and Facelift is what led me to Radiohead, that led me to branching out to all
Yeah.
the stuff that I listen to now.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for Dirt, then not that I'm not a metalhead now, I would be
Sure.
a much bigger metalhead than I.
Can we cheat and put the live acoustic album, the unplugged album? Because it
Well,
has
I'll
all the
tell you,
hits.
Man, well, so for me, Dirt is mine because it has it has my favorite Alice in Chains songs on it. But let
I
me
figured
play.
your favorite Alice in Chains song comes off a Jar of Flies.
No, what do you think my favorite song is?
What's the one you covered?
Or are you thinking about Nutshell?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nutshell.
No, that's not my favorite.
But it's good.
All right, so
But it
play
is
the
good.
one. Play
All
the
right,
one
and
that you
I'm gonna
think is
play the
Joel's and
one
might
I
be mine.
Think is both of y'all's maybe. Pretty,
Oh,
I am almost positive it's this guy right here.
I will tell you, the two of us do not have the same favorite Alice in Chains song. I do know that.
That's probably a true statement.
All right, well, let's see.
Let's find out. Not my favorite. Not intended for Dirt.
I am not going to deny that is it. That is easily my favorite Alice.
That's your favorite. I figure I'm like I said, I was almost positive it was yours. I couldn't remember if it was yours.
Yeah, I actually told the story of Ireland to Ireland last week. We were just palling around, and I told her that I had gotten we were in Dallas, and I got a brand new CD player with a 30-second anti-skip on it. Remember that? Well, that was like a big deal, because like they were notorious.
Anti-skip, yes.
Yeah, you would sneeze and they would skip. So I had this 30-second anti-skip, and I had enough money to buy one album, and it was the soundtrack to Singles. And that's, I believe, if I remember correctly, that's the first song on that whole soundtrack.
I believe so.
And I remember it was pitch black. It was 11 o'clock at night. My parents were asleep, and I had just had my headphones on, just blaring this song. So no, that's definitely That is, I mean, I can't say that I don't like any of their other songs, but
Yeah.
that's definitely
Yeah, it's the very first.
it's the very first introductory slap. Like, who the hell are these guys? And that was even before, because they'd already released the first song we just listened to.
They released Facelift.
Yeah, they released Facelift with
And then Man in the Box.
Man in the Box. Thank you. Sorry, just totally went blank. And I mean, I knew of that song, but it wasn't something I was into. But that was the first one I heard. Oh my gosh! And then the way it just ends and it just completely hits you in the
end.
face the whole time.
The ending of this song is just how it drives home. And what I like about this song is it highlights just how good of a player Mike Starr was.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not doing anything overly complicated, but it's it's that constant that what
It
you want out of a
carries.
bass player.
Yeah,
Right?
it carries. Unlike some of the other stuff that they do where the guitar really kind of drives it, really it's the bass line that drives that song. So, no, I
Well,
totally agree with you.
So we're gonna change gears for a second because all these songs have been kind of like what y'all said, driving kind of like right up in your face. And then dude, they do something like this. And Fisher already has hinted to this song, but then they do something like this.
Man, this takes me back.
Dude, that bass line, jeez.
That's great.
Talk about a song that you just put the windows down and you just cruise to.
Yeah.
Like that's a put the windows down and just go on a like stroll.
Yeah.
Now I waffle, but like, man, it's kind of like Fisher, kind of like you said. I go back and forth between that song as being my favorite song of theirs, and then the next one that I'll play here in a second. But man, there's just something.
I highly doubt you'll play my favorite.
I may not. You may have to tell me. I've got 2 songs left. The one that I'm going to play next is my favorite. But I doubt. Yeah, I doubt the last one I've got is. But we'll listen to it here in a little bit. But man, like, I don't know what it is about that quote unquote ballad that Nutshell is, but God, it's just good. The lyrics, if you ever stop and actually listen to the lyrics, it's like, holy shit, what was he going through?
Yep.
So,
You know, when you're mixing somebody who has sung that song, you hear the lyrics a lot. So I definitely get it. I feel I feel his pain too. So good stuff.
But man, okay, so the next song, I got to go right into it. My favorite song. All right.
Let's hear it.
Talk about lyrics and talk about going through some shit. I'm going to just play it from the beginning here. Dude, the lyrics, like, oh my gosh, man. See my heart, I decorate it like a grave. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So
That
did you
is-
know
That bass line though.
that baseline? That baseline, dude.
God.
That
I'm sorry. I gotta reiterate what Fisher said. That bass line though. I mean, anyway, continue.
that should be our next T-shirt.
That's
That
the next
baseline, though.
t-shirt, that bass line though.
That bass line though.
But were y'all aware that when this album was initially released in 1992, the track listing that, like, if you go buy the CD now, or if you bought it 10 years ago or whatever, did you know the track listing was different?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Why'd they
Down
change
in a
it?
hole, I don't know. Down in a Hole was number 4, or is number 4 now. It was the 12th song on the album when it was first released.
Hmm.
And God, I wish I still had my copy of that album, but it got stole.
So what is your favorite song, Fisher?
Okay. See, that's tough. It's either. Hold on, let me pull it up.
I thought, and just guessing, I thought it was one off of the self-titled Alice in Chains album. That's what I vaguely remember you saying at one time,
The
Fisher.
one with the dog?
Yeah.
No,
Okay. Well, I'm just
not
saying.
even close.
Wow. Just a
My
simple, just a simple no would have been fine. Okay.
my
Jeez.
my favorite is either Rain When I Die, Dirt, or Brother off of the SAP EP. I Hate to Feel is a good one too, but it's one of those 3.
Which one do you want to hear a snippet of real quick?
Let's do Brother.
Okay. I'm going to play it from the beginning. I thought I was going to play it from the beginning. Hang on.
Or Am I Inside? Or
Okay, here we go. I got it.
You get one. Okay. Don't be naming
Damn
off
it.
like 5 tracks. Okay.
Hang on.
one. Just
You get
one.
one. Just like in other situations, you get one.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This gives me all the warm fuzzies.
Frozen in the place I hide, not afraid to paint my sky with some say I've lost my mind. Brother, try and hope to find you were always so far away. I know that pain, so don't you run away like you used to do.
That bass, man, this guy may be the best bass player.
That bass, though.
Well,
That
n-
bass, though.
I mean, it's just interesting when you get a chance to really sit down and listen. That's a great song. I don't think I've ever heard that one, or if I have, it was in passing.
Really?
If
I've
you-
actually heard that one.
You've heard it, Joel, because they played it for their unplugged.
Okay, yeah, but dude,
But
that's great.
if you and brother is, I love that song. I love that whole EP. Because that EP, they recorded that EP the same time they recorded Wood. Because Cameron Crowe, if you watch the Pearl Jam 20 documentary, he talks about at the beginning of the documentary how at that time he was a big fan of the Seattle music scene, and he had just put out the movie Singles when all of that stuff was going on, when Mother Love Bone and all of that was happening. But he went to Alice in Chains and said, I want you to put a song on my soundtrack. And so the money that they got to record Wood, they had all this money left over, and they were like, well, we've got these acoustic things that we've been
might as
doing, so
well,
let's
yeah.
record it. And if you go and you watch that interview for Icon that Jerry Cantrell did, he talks about, he credits SAP, that EP, as the reason that they can basically put out whatever they want, because that was the second official, like, they put it out, there was no press, there was no nothing, it was just, hey, let's put it out, it'll go out in record stores and people just discover it on their own. And I mean, that's how I found out about it. I was at the Hastings in Lake Jackson, and I was going through I would start in the A's and work my way down. And so I was like, oh, when did Alice in Chains put out an album? And, but there's so many good songs. I mean, it's only 5 songs long, but there's not a bad song. Even the joke song at the end, Love Song, it's just dissonance all over the place. But
It's a love song, effers.
So I've got one more song, and we really honed in on them in their heyday in the 90s. Well,
oh yeah, dude,
I'm
their
gonna-
new albums are great too.
I'm
man.
gonna play you a song, and it was the first song I heard off of Black Gives Way to Blue when they finally released an album after being gone for so many years. They released Black Gives Way to Blue. This is track number 1. And I'll never forget when I heard this, I was like, holy shit. It's Alice in freaking Chains, dude.
Yeah.
So here we go. I'm going to play 2 different sections of this song. So just here we go. So yeah. I'll never forget- No, because I gotta go to a second. I gotta go to another. section
Dude, that
of the
was like
song.
on a roller coaster that just stopped.
You like that one?
Golly.
Joel's face was like, whoa, wait a minute.
I almost pissed myself.
like, "What?"
Jeez.
But
I hate
no.
roller coasters, you
Dude,
bastard.
no, but I
Seriously.
tell you what, man. Like when you hear the guitar only just on the intro, you're like, yes, where's this going? And the build up, and then it finally hits in, and you're like, shit, yeah. It's
I
Alice in
know I
Chains.
was there until you turned the damn song off, man.
Oh no, here we go. No,
Jeez.
okay, no. Now I love this
God.
part of the song. So shush.
It's okay.
You can go back and re-listen to it. Okay. Here we go.
I need to pick up short. Blue balled him. Thank you. That's a softer fade.
There you go. But man, no, but golly. So y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. And even if y'all say I'm wrong, I don't give a shit what you say. But man,
You're wrong.
that to me, dude, that's freaking like the quintessential Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
Like, man.
I'm gonna say yes because it sounds. It's like the Pixies. They lost a member, but they picked right up, and they sound like the Pixies. Alice in Chains sounds just like Alice in Chains, and I actually listened to the new albums. We actually did a first listen. Well, not first listen. Yeah, no, we did do a first listen on one of their newer tracks when we first started.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. This is one of those rare occasions where I'm so thankful that they picked up and kept moving, and that they're still playing shows. And man, if they come to Dallas or Houston or San Antonio or Austin, I'd love to go see them.
They came to Dallas 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, they were just here.
I didn't realize that. That sucks. But I'd
sent
love to go
text
see them.
messages saying,
Yeah,
hey, 2 weeks before the before that.
Well, I can't do it
Kim-
2 weeks before. I need a little planning ahead. Either
I
way.
sent it 2 months ago.
Gosh, okay.
I'm sure they'll come back through again.
But anyway, I would. That's a bucket
They
list
were here
band
with
that
Bush.
I'd like to go see. Oh, I remember now.
I have seen 2/4 of Alice in Chains. When I saw
You mean half?
oh, look at you.
You know, Texas does need teachers, Joel.
I know math is hard. I do
Math
accounting
ain't easy.
software, so anyway, but that's funny. Mm.
So anyway, I saw Jerry Cantrell after he put out his first album, Boggy Depot.
Mm.
I saw him open up for Metallica, and he had Sean Kenny playing on drums and Trujillo playing bass. Yeah, it was the unfortunate part about that is he was playing stuff off of his solo album, and people were wanting him to play Alice in Chains stuff.
Yep.
And
which I get.
Yeah, and Days of the New opened up or played before he did. Which at the time I was a big Days of the New fan. Anyway, I like their new album. Their new album came out in 2018. Rainier Fog. That's a pretty smoking album.
It's great.
And I will agree to an extent that what you just played is quintessential Alice in Chains, because it sounds like you're trudging through mud when you listen to it, and it's alternate tunings, and it sounds like something they probably would have written right after Dirt or before Dirt, right? Like, good or take it for what you will, good or bad, it is it's pretty much a hallmark of any popular band is as soon as you hear it, you're like, that's them.
That's Alice in Chains.
And I think with that song, with it being track one of the first album they released after they were gone for so long, it was exactly what people like I needed to hear.
Yep.
Yeah.
But every song that they've from that point forward it's all Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
They may have lost Lane, which was a big blow, but the core of everything that they did really went through Jerry Cantrell.
Yeah.
They were his songs, his vocals, his melodies.
I'm gonna push back a little bit on that because
shocker.
Shocker.
We've been agreeing all night, so it's about time.
When I read not emails, when I read articles of interviews and things from Jerry Cantrell, he'll say, if it wasn't a melody or just song outright, Lane was, writing lyrics. So he was just as much the songwriter in the band as Jerry. Now, Jerry wrote most of the music and writes a lot of the lyrics, like almost all of Dirt, with the exception. The only song that I know for sure was a Lane Staley song was Angry Chair. Oh, great song.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of that, I would say 90% of that album is Jerry. Um, and that's what I loved about the band was you had the front man Lane, who was a front man, right? Like he was, there's no denying his talent and his power, but right to his left, right, the guitar player was front man 1B, right? And so I liked that interchange and that Jerry's Jerry's vocals are a little softer than Lane's, right? They're a little more what you would expect out of someone who's singing, right? Lane's got that harsh tone that, like you were saying earlier, just cuts through, and
Yeah.
here it is. And then you've got the counterbalance to that, the opposite end of the spectrum to that in Jerry. And even and their new guy. Hold on, what's his name? Geez, why can't I?
You're the guy that looks like Lenny Kravitz.
Hey, he looks like what's his name from? He looks like the lead William Duvall. That's his name.
Yeah. Yeah.
He looks like the lead singer from oh geez, Boys Are Back in Town. Thin Lizzy.
Mm.
He kind of
Yeah.
looks like Phil Lynott from
Yeah.
or Lynott, however you say his name.
Lynott. Yeah.
Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy. I mean, he has a little bit a vocal. His tone is similar to that of Lane's. He can at least make his tone similar to Lane's. And I saw a video on YouTube of him singing Rain When I Die off of it. I closed my eyes the whole song, and I could have swore it was Lane singing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's very talented, and you know, one of the things I like about him is he hasn't, like, he knows that I've stepped into a place, a hallowed place
Mm-hmm.
in the band, right? Like I kind of liken it to when Jason took over for Cliff. Like those are big shoes to fill. Right? Now Jason had a lot more BS to put up with through the other three guys in the band. But as far as the crowd is concerned, and we've said it before, when I think of Metallica, I think of Jason as the bass player of Metallica.
Yeah.
Right. I know I'm gonna catch a lot of hell from Metallica fans for that one, right? Because
For some. No, I mean for the originals, yeah.
because Cliff was just this larger than life. I mean, if you go and you watch any video on YouTube of Cliff playing, like, and you can see it in the other guys in the band, just how much they like, oh, Cliff, he's this, he was the de facto leader of the band. And then he passed away, and James and especially Lars stepped up to the plate to drive the band. But as far as just pure energy and how he presented himself on stage, Jason is that guy for me. And it's kind of similar with William. Like I can see why Soundgarden hasn't tried to find somebody. Can you imagine stepping in the place of Chris Cornell?
True.
I mean, that's hallowed ground you're stepping on
Yep.
there. The same thing with Lane. And I think the thing that really kind of made it palatable for people was when he joined the band. It wasn't they got back together and they did a charity show when not a charity show, but a benefit concert. They played a benefit concert for Haiti when that earthquake happened in Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
And it started the healing process. And the guys in the band were like, well, you filled in on stage. Why don't you come sing on our album and see how it goes? Because when they released Black Gives Way to Blue, they weren't even sure they were going to release it. They just went in and recorded it, and they had the mindset of, well, if we like it and we feel like it needs to be put out for the world, we're going to do it. If not, we did it for us, and thank God they put it out, because they put out some pretty good stuff since then too.
Yeah.
So
That's good. Alice in Chains, man. God, I'm glad I picked them because I've been waiting to do that for a while.
I mean, we could have just done a whole episode just on Alice in Chains to
It's
be
okay.
honest.
well, like I said,
4
days ago, four days ago as of taping, the album turned 30. So
It's good. Well, man,
it's good. It's good.
It's
it's good. If y'all have lived under a rock, if you're listening or watching and you have no idea who Alice in Chains is,
Why are
go
you listening to this show?
look them up.
Well, maybe
Now.
maybe we're the link. Come on, guys.
Pause our
Maybe.
video. I give you permission. You can come back to this later and go look Alice in Chains up. You will not be disappointed. Man, so that was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
That's
that was
good. So it's good. I'm gonna hijack the first listen
Oh, of course you are.
just
Okay.
because I've already got everything pulled up. If
Nice.
you've heard it,
I
if
have
you've
something
heard-
pulled up for a first listen. I've been wanting to play this for a while.
Hey, you know
Nice.
what? I will say all of us were prepared. So good.
look at that,
Minutes of preparation.
That
which-
never happens.
which is going to be a t-shirt, by the way, for those of you listening and watching. We have t-shirts. We've got more on the way. We can put all of this stuff on anything you want. Stickers, hats, towels, whatever you want. We can have it done for you.
Onesies, baby
We will get
onesies.
back to that in a little bit. If y'all have heard this before, I don't care. I'm just going to hit play. If you haven't,
Play
great.
away, my friend.
So here we go. Cue the eye rolls.
Right on.
My lover's got humor. She's the giggle at a funeral. Knows everybody's disapproval. Should've worshipped her sooner. If the heavens ever did speak, she's the last true mouthpiece. Every Sunday's getting more bleak. Fresh poison each week. We were born sick. You heard them say it. My church offers no absolutes. She tells me worship in the bedroom. Only heaven I resent to is when I'm alone with you. I was born sick, but I love it. Command me to be well. Amen. 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 Take me to church, I'll worship like a dog and destroy your lies. I'll tell you my sins and you can sharpen your knife. Offer me the list of a good God. Let me give you my life.
That's low.
Worship like a dog and destroy your lies. I'll tell you my sins and you can sharpen your knife. Offer me the list of a good God. Let me give you my life.
Low.
I'm a pagan of the good times. My love is in sunlight. Keep the goddess on my side. See them as a sacrifice. Drain your whole sea. Get something shiny. So
Punch because the guy who's singing filled in for the lead singer of Five Finger Death Punch in 2017.
Who was it? Who is that guy?
The guy's name is Tommy Vexed.
Tommy Vexed and
He was sang with Bad Wolves.
Bad Wolves.
Ah, so they're the
And
ones
so-
that do zombies.
Yes.
Zombie.
So, yeah.
That was better though than their cover of Zombie.
So I tell you what, the students in my class, when we go to PE, they love listening to that while we're in the gym. They're like, play, Take Me to Church. And I'm like, okay. And so I'll play that version and they're all like, yes.
It's heavy,
So-
man. That is super low. That one part, jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Had you heard that before, Joel?
Nope.
So
I
what?
mean,
Okay,
I'm
so
not a
there we
fan of
go.
Hosier or whatever, or Hosier. I'm not a fan of that either, but I mean, it's okay. I mean, I don't really like the song, and it's pretty much the exact same thing as the.
Sure.
So I'm just not a fan of that song, and it's not lyrics or anything. It's okay, but I will say, I mean, I like what they did in the background. I like the tones. I mean, I'm sure live it sounds super awesome, but it's okay.
See, I like it when, I for some reason I just like it when bands like this take a more like poppy type song and then just make it metal. I
Yeah.
think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
usually do too. I just, like I said, I just don't really like this song. So, like, the band that covered, Since You've Been Gone, I love the way they do that version, but I also love that song. So, but on
sure.
this one, I'm just,
Yeah,
But it-
I'm with you, Joel. I've never really been a fan of the song, and it's has nothing to do with the lyrical content or anything like that. I mean, I understand why it was popular back in 2014 and why people gravitated towards it. I mean,
yeah.
it's different than what was out at that time, right?
And that is the one thing I will give it is it's different. So that made me like, oh, this is different. I don't like
Right.
it, but hey, I mean,
it was different. It was
it's a musician making a song, but I agree with you. It's just,
yeah. Like, what was the guy done since then? Really? He put out an album in 2019,
yeah,
and that's it.
that's like the
Right.
same guy that did Somebody.
I was just thinking that I lump it in with Gautier or
Yeah,
however you
yeah,
say
yeah,
it, with somebody I used to know,
Yeah.
right? Like he had that real popular song, and then
But I liked that song.
see, I would say I like Take Me to Church better than Somebody I Used to Know.
Oh, you meant don't.
Man,
dun,
you know, but
ba-da-da-da-da.
the one thing I love
That'll
even more
work,
than this, and
buddy.
I don't have it. The one thing I love more than this, and I don't have it, is from the movie Hangover, when you've got the wedding singer guy actually like doing wedding singer like jazzy type, but he's doing it with like the R&B rap stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so great. So I love it when a genre takes a song from another genre and makes it their own. It's just, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Like I said, if it was on the radio, I probably would not turn it off, but I'm not like,
You're not going to go seek it out.
I'm not going to go in the living room and do like I did on some of our first listens and some of our featured artists. I will say this, that's a tough act to follow after covering My Chemical Romance's live album stuff or live show along with Alice in Chains. So that they
Yeah.
were already set to fail, but you know what? Maybe you like it out there in YouTube land or wherever you're listening, Spotify, Apple music, podcasts, things /stuff, Rumble, all the places
There
that
it
we're
is.
located. Man,
Rumble,
seriously,
rumble.
let us know what you think. Subscribe. We want the
Comment.
cowbell. Comment. We want to hear
Feed
from
that
you
algorithm.
guys. Feed
Thumbs
the
up.
algorithm. Another shirt that's probably going to come out. But first, it's going to be Save the Hennessy. And if you don't know, you need to go check it out because it's on one of the episodes. But
Save the Henny.
save the Henny, man. Save it. It's behind the glass. All $19 of it.
Oh my God, dude. I still can't get over it.
So that being said, Fisher, do you have
Jerks.
I need some new channels because I'm running out of stuff to watch that you've already mentioned before. So what do you got
how
this
can you
week?
run out of Rick
I
Beato?
don't. I'm just trying to
Rick
encourage
Beato
others.
is the channel that keeps on giving.
It is the it
Right.
it's yes.
I'm surprised we made it this far without mentioning Rick Beato.
Well, I realized I kind of went on a boy crush or a man crush or whatever you call it with Rick Beato. So I actually I showed my cousin's son Rick Beato. He's 15 years old, and I showed him Rick Beato because he's an aspiring guitar player, and said, "Well, if you're that, you need to check this guy out." So
Right on.
I talk about him all the time, but I thought I'd kind of chill. But hey, Rick Beato, go check it out.
He will forever be our
Yeah.
Yeah,
featured
he will be that for me, that and NPR Tiny Desk are the two things that I watch constantly. So,
yeah.
but that being said, what new stuff do you have for us today, sir?
Well, I figured since I kind of shouted out some of the live stuff on on tonight's show, go ahead and check out Alice in Chains YouTube channel. Right, all of those live concerts and videos that I mentioned, you're gonna find them there. Right,
All 43 videos.
all 43 videos, lyric videos. Check out, like I said, check out Live at the Moore. That's a lot of influential 90s videos came from that venue. I'm pretty sure the video for Alive from Pearl Jam came from that
Ah,
venue. And I'm pretty sure Even Flow's video was from that venue. So
mm.
check it out. The other channel I have for you tonight, it's called Bad Taste in Music, and it's just a kid. I say kid, he's probably in his mid-20s. But he reviews music, and it's his shtick is it's low quality, low budget, right? And
Yeah.
but he has some really interesting takes on the music that he listens to. You can tell he has some kind of musical background, whether it's vocal training or he has musical knowledge way more than I do, right? I just
Okay.
listen to music and tell you how I feel about it. But he he's I would say he's right along the lines of you and Ryan, like
Okay.
with your music knowledge. Like when he speaks about music and talks about why he likes a certain part, he could tell you, it's because this is happening or because this is going on.
Cool.
Bad Taste in Music.
Bad Taste
check
in
him
Music.
out. It's very interesting. It's a lot of jump cuts and the stuff that the kids like on the YouTubes, right? A lot of effects and stuff like
on
that.
the YouTubes,
on the YouTubes,
on the Facebooks.
So on the Book of Face. So go
On the
check it
Book
out.
of
Bad
Face.
Taste in Music, and then the Alice in Chains YouTube channel.
Nice. Good job, Ryan. Good job, Fisher. Y'all did great jobs.
There it is.
Round
Great
of applause
channels.
for everybody.
Gurfers
so-
brought it.
So one of our top fans, I would say he's probably up there as the number one fan. He has made the jump from YouTube over to Rumble, and he's only watching us on Rumble. That would be my brother Scott.
Really?
He said that the viewing is much better on the Rumble.
Does
Oh,
he,
yeah.
does he
It is.
like the open platform?
And so that's where he's watching all of our stuff now is on Rumble. So if you are listening or watching right now, follow his lead and go check us out on Rumble, right? Let us see how things go there. Mentioned we've got merch coming, right? We're going to be wearing some t-shirts, get all that stuff on towels, on tumblers, whatever you want. We'll get it on there. And just to give you a sneak peek, these guys don't even know. So the next shirt will probably be Save the Henny. And
Right on.
our t-shirt and merch provider is going to start working on the art for it. She's pretty sure that she's going to have the outline of a Hennessy bottle, and it's going to have like the wording inside of the Hennessy bottle. And then our
Nice.
logo may be in there somewhere. So
on the back, just like our other
It'll-
one that none of us wore tonight.
it's
Good
okay.
job, fellas.
It's all right. It's good. Save the Henny.
You don't wear the shirt of the band you're gonna see tonight. Come on, dude.
We
I
are
almost,
the band.
I
though, so
almost
it's
wore the My
okay.
Chemical Romance shirt, and I was like,
Nice.
nah, I can't do it.
So I tell you
We
what,
are the band, so that's okay.
be on the lookout for merch. We'll put my t-shirt provider. Her name is Crystal Hicks. We'll get her information up at some point online. If you want to just have your own stuff made for whatever pleasure you have, then she'll make it for you. So if you're into
Whatever.
your own pleasure, she'll
Whatever
make it
kind of
for you.
pleasure you're into,
Right?
she will help out.
She will.
Whoa.
You just
Sure.
totally just there. I feel so sorry for her.
She'll make you whatever you want, as long as it's on a shirt.
Right on.
But hey, I hope y'all had fun. Until next time, keep living, keep loving, keep listening, and as always, keep rocking.
If you wanted honesty, that's all you had to say. I never want to let you down or have you down.